The butterfly effect is what brings beauty to this physical reality. When I say that everything here is predictable and everything is pre-programmed and pre-written, I talk about the patterns, which are pre-written and pre-programmed. But the beauty of this reality is that we always have a choice. Even in this programmed world, there are choices which are planned, which are pre-programmed into the pattern. And every time we make a different choice, the picture changes. The final picture of the pattern of our life, that's what makes it unique, is the importance of these little choices. And that is the whole beauty of the butterfly effect. I was actually given that concept a few years ago during the pandemic. I couldn't fully grasp it at that time, but I've done my best to accept that and to download it. And only recently I was able to formulate it in some kind of an understandable way. So I received it as just the concept of a butterfly, as an idea of a soft little touch, which at first was just like amazingly shocking to me, because I was not able to understand how a soft little touch can change anything. During the pandemic, there was a period when I was receiving quite a lot of downloads, and one of these downloads was about the butterfly, which I couldn't grasp. So I saw the same dream, like normal dreams, like when I'm unable to receive the information from my spiritual guides in the normal state of mind, they come through the dreams while I sleep. So that's how they brought that butterfly to me, and the same dream repeated twice. So I was clear that it is a message. And the dream, it was simply about a butterfly, where I saw a nice, beautiful black velvet butterfly, which was flying like so softly, and I saw this butterfly landing on a flower very, very softly. Like it was like shocking to me. The softness of the butterfly's touch was so shocking to me in the dream that I woke up because I was like, how is this possible? And I just saw the butterfly fly and softly land, softly touch the flower, and just fly off again. And that touch of a butterfly on a flower was so soft that was incredibly shocking to me in the dream. So I woke up, and a few days, two days later, I saw the same dream again, with the clear message from my guides, which sounded like touch softer, which was to me, well, like, what? What do you mean? Because at that time, like, I had no idea about the concept of softness, because I was like a fighter. I was a warrior who knew very well how to get things by pushing. Like, that's what I can do. That's what I'm really good at. At least I was very good at fighting and getting my point across by pushing it through. It's like I've always had enough power to push until everyone else gives up, and I was using that power all throughout my lifetime, until that dream, when I was shocked to get a sense that a soft touch can possibly have some kind of effect on anything, on the world, on people. Or because, like, my idea was that in order to get a result, in order to get people to understand you, or in order to get people to do what you want them to do, or whatever, in order to get something from the world, you really have to push this world. Like, you have to put a lot of effort in order to see some result. And this concept of a butterfly came with this sensation of softness, that a result can be achieved by just a soft touch, which was like, it took me several years to understand like how to integrate that concept, that I don't need to push in order to receive a result. For me, as for a warrior who can push and who loves to push, like I enjoyed pushing people, I enjoyed forcing people, because like I enjoyed that process when they give up their willpower to mine. Like I would always be the last one to get tired from fighting. Like once you're all tired, I push my point across. So that hard pushing was the only way of reaching goals that I was aware of. And once they gave me this idea of softness, I even made the tattoo and the reminder to touch softer for myself, to try to get used to that idea. It took me a number of years. And now I'm able to understand and explain this concept of the butterfly effect, that in order to see a change in the whole picture, you don't actually push through like all the stages of this movement. You can actually make one little slight change at the very bottom of this whole system, at the very bottom of the tree, and that little slight change can affect the whole result. That is the idea of the butterfly effect, that we don't actually need to push this world. We don't actually need to try so hard in order to get a different result. We can actually learn to, once we understand the pattern, when we understand like that one little change, one little choice made differently at a very early stage can affect how this whole picture unfolds, and that the whole pattern, even though it's predictable, even though it's pre-programmed and prepared, what is pre-programmed is only the pattern of how this flower opens up and how this pattern or fractal opens up. But what I do have power of is to make that one slight change in the very beginning, which takes the picture to a completely new and possibly absolutely more beautiful direction. So that's the idea of a butterfly. And in mathematics, there is a concept of the effect of a butterfly in the theory of chaos, and that describes how this whole system that we participate in, it is at the same time totally deterministic, but absolutely unpredictable. How is that possible? Because the part that is determined is the pattern. All the patterns is what is determined, but the unpredictable part is the choices that we make, which builds the different combination of the patterns, makes a completely different story, makes a completely different, unique picture. And that's what makes us all unique in this physical world, is that combination of little tiny choices. And that's the paradox of the butterfly, that this whole world is predetermined, but at the same time absolutely unpredictable and chaotic, and that chaos is the beauty of it. And that also connects to the idea and the idea of predictions, like how is it possible to predict future by, like, I don't know, by tarot reading or by any other approach. And what we can actually, my answer to that question is that we can actually predict the patterns. We can read the patterns. Like a very good tarot reader is the person who understands patterns and who is able to recognize a pattern, which pattern is currently playing out in your lifetime, like in your life. And once I know which pattern is ongoing, I can more or less predict like which pattern will go on, which pattern will open up next, and by knowing how you are interacting with this pattern, I can predict if you will have to replay it on loop, or if you are ready to go to the next stage and to deal with the next pattern, because their correspondence to each other is also described by a certain pattern. So that is the work of a person who reads tarot properly, is a person who describes patterns. So that's the part that can be predicted and described. But can the final result be predetermined and predicted? No, because there will be so many choices that you will have to make along the way. Inside that little pattern, there will be so many opportunities, how this whole tree of choices can grow. It will follow a pattern, but which pattern it will follow will depend on the choices you make. And if I predict your future, if I tell you this will happen, for example, you will find that job or you will marry that person. Once I predict it, if I tell you that future, you will be more likely to make the choices which are in alignment with my prediction. So that's what makes my prediction real and true. If you just start making your choices more in the direction of the outcome that I have predicted for you. And if you don't like my prediction, you can at that moment start making opposite choices, opposite from the outcome that I have predicted for you. And so that pattern so the whole picture will again build itself according to a pattern, but in the opposite direction. So that's all about predictions. Do they work or not? Do you need them in your life or not? Up to you. Yeah, free will is the most powerful thing that we have here. See you again